A family is a fragile ecosystem. It can withstand storms, it can heal from fractures, but sometimes a crisis arrives that is so profound, it threatens to shatter the very foundation. For the Shannon family, the last hours have not just brought a storm. They have brought a confluence of two separate, devastating hurricanes, colliding over one household with an almost biblical sense of tragedy. As a mother fights for her life, the daughter who has held them all together is now fighting for her freedom, her reputation, and everything she has ever built. Good evening. Last night we brought you the heartbreaking news that June Shannon, Mama June, is in critical condition in the ICU following a major car accident. The family, as you can imagine, is devastated, holding a vigil at her bedside, praying for a miracle. The outpouring of support and sympathy from the public has been immense. But tonight, the story has taken a shocking and deeply disturbing turn. We have just confirmed that in what can only be described as an act of astonishingly cruel timing, a court notice for a major lawsuit was delivered today in the name of Lauren Pumpkin Effort. While she was at the hospital, grappling with the potential loss of her mother, a legal bombshell was detonated that threatens to destroy her. The allegations are explosive. The lawsuit, filed by a man once considered a trusted, inner-circle friend of the family, claims that Pumpkin has illegally taken over his house, fraudulently transferring the property into her own name. This is a crisis on two fronts. It is a story of a medical tragedy colliding with a legal firestorm. It is a story that forces us to re-examine everything we thought we knew about the person who has been positioned for years as this family's unwavering moral compass. Tonight we will do our best to navigate this incredibly complex and sensitive situation. We will investigate the man behind this lawsuit. We will deconstruct the shocking allegations. We will analyze the impossible position this puts Pumpkin in, a young woman now forced to fight a legal battle while simultaneously facing a parent's mortality. This is a family under siege, from without and within, in what is unequivocally their darkest hour. Hey everyone, welcome back to Boo Boo Update. If you're new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button for all the latest updates on Mama June family. Today we've got something exciting to talk about. Honey Boo Boo family. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. So grab a seat and let's dive right in. To understand the gravity of this lawsuit, we must first answer the question on everyone's mind. Who is Darrin Kitchens? For casual viewers of the Mama June saga, his name might not be familiar. But for those who have followed the family's business dealings closely, Darrin, who often went by the nickname DD, has been a quiet but pivotal figure for years. Darrin Kitchens was, for a significant period during the WeTV era, June Shannon's manager and close confidant. He entered the picture after the family's financial and public relations collapse following the addiction crisis. He was positioned as a savvy, experienced manager who could help them navigate the treacherous waters of reality television, secure new deals, and manage the money that was coming in. He was more than just a manager. He was a friend on the show. Though rarely a central character, he was often seen in the background of major family events, a steady presence in their chaotic world. He was reportedly instrumental in helping June get her finances back in order after the catastrophic losses of the Gino Doke era. He was trusted. He was part of the inner sanctum. Sources close to the family have described him as a protective, almost fatherly figure to the girls at times, someone who understood the pressures of their unique lives. This brings us to the subject of the lawsuit. The house. According to our initial investigation and sources familiar with the arrangement, the house in question is a property in Georgia owned by Darrin Kitchens. It was not the original Shannon family home. Instead, it was a property that Darrin allegedly offered to the family as a safe haven during their most turbulent times. Think back to when June was getting sober, when her own home had been sold, when she was essentially transient. This house was reportedly a place she could stay, a stable address to land. It was later used by various family members as a temporary residence during periods of transition. It was, in essence, a profound act of friendship and support from Darrin, a safe harbor provided to a family in desperate need. It was always understood, according to our sources, to be Darrin's house. This context is what makes the allegations so venomous. The lawsuit is not about a disputed business deal between strangers. It is framed as a deep personal betrayal. The accusation is that Pumpkin Efford, the person who has built her entire brand on being the responsible protector of her family, took this ultimate act of kindness and twisted it into an opportunity for personal gain, betraying the trust of a man who had helped them when they were at their lowest. Let's break down the legal claims being made in this lawsuit, which court records show was filed just this morning. This is a multi-pronged attack on Pumpkin's character and actions, and the allegations are severe. The core of the lawsuit is an allegation of fraudulent conveyance, more commonly understood as a fraudulent transfer of property. The plaintiff, Darrin Kitchens, alleges that sometime in the last year, Pumpkin Efford, through illegal and deceptive means, had the deed to his property transferred from his name into her own. How could this allegedly have happened? The lawsuit suggests a few possibilities, each more disturbing than the last. One claim points to potential forgery, alleging that Pumpkin, or someone acting on her behalf, forged Aaron's signature on the legal documents required to transfer the deed. This is a serious criminal accusation, one that elevates this from a civil dispute to something that could involve law enforcement. Another, perhaps more insidious, allegation is that of undue influence. This legal concept suggests that Pumpkin took advantage of Darrin Kitchens during a time when he was vulnerable. The suit vaguely alludes to a period where Mr. Kitchens may have been dealing with his own personal health or financial issues, making him susceptible to manipulation. It paints a picture of Pumpkin using her close, trusted relationship to pressure or trick him into signing over the property, perhaps under the guise of protecting it for the family or some other pretext. This allegation attacks her not just as a business person, but as a human being, accusing her of preying on a friend's weakness. The lawsuit also seeks damages for intentional infliction of emotional distress, citing the profound betrayal and anxiety this alleged act has caused Mr. Kitchens. Now, we must be crystal clear. These are, at this moment, only allegations. Pumpkin Efford is innocent until proven otherwise. We have reached out to her representatives for a comment, but, given the circumstances with her mother, have understandably not received a response. But the question remains, from the plaintiff's perspective, what is the motive? Why would Pumpkin, the family's supposed savior, risk everything to do this? The lawsuit paints a picture of a young woman buckling under immense financial pressure, with 4 children, a husband, and the de facto head of a sprawling, chaotic family. The suit implies she was desperate to secure a tangible asset. It suggests that her desire to build a life raft, a term we've used on this very channel to describe her motivations, became so all-consuming that she was willing to commit a criminal act to acquire the boards and nails. It posits that the very pressure that made her a hero also made her corruptible. But then there is the timing. Why file this lawsuit now? Why drop this bomb on the very day the family is consumed with a life-or-death crisis? From a legal standpoint, it's baffling. From a human standpoint, it is, on its face, an act of breathtaking cruelty. It is a decision so malicious in its timing that it raises questions about the motivations of the plaintiff himself. Is this a righteous claim for justice, or is it a calculated, vindictive attack designed to inflict maximum pain? That is a question that will surely be at the heart of this case as it moves forward. Chris, this lawsuit is so explosive because it strikes at the very heart of the Shannon family's modern narrative for the last 7 years. That narrative has been built on the bedrock of Pumpkin Efford's character. She has been the hero of a story that desperately needed one. Think about her journey. When June collapsed, Pumpkin rose. She sacrificed her own youth to become a parent to her sister. She has been the family's emotional center, its financial manager, and its moral compass. She is the one who sets boundaries, who demands accountability, who fights to protect her siblings and her own children from the chaos that constantly threatens to engulf them. Her entire public identity is that of the selfless, resilient matriarch who holds it all together through sheer force of will. She is, in the mythology of the show, the antithesis of her mother's irresponsibility. This lawsuit is a direct assault on that entire legacy. It seeks to reframe her not as the family's savior, but as a shrewd, manipulative operator who learned her mother's worst habits all too well. It asks a deeply uncomfortable question. Has the weight of a lifetime of crisis finally corrupted her? Let's explore the psychological pressure she has been under. For years, she has been responsible for everyone. She has managed budgets, juggled reality TV obligations, and raised 4 children in a high-stress environment. She has witnessed firsthand how quickly fame and fortune can be lost. She lives with a deep-seated fear of financial instability, a trauma response to her mother's actions. Is it possible that this fear drove her to a desperate act? Is it possible that she saw an opportunity to secure a permanent, valuable asset, a house for her children, and in a moment of profound moral weakness, took it? Did she rationalize it to herself, perhaps believing Darrin owed the family something for the money he made managing them, or that she was simply securing a home her mother should have provided? This is the dark path the lawsuit invites us to consider. A path where the hero, pushed to the brink, finally breaks bad. And what of her husband, Josh? A man we have consistently described as her rock, the voice of grounded, working-class morality. Where does he stand in all of this? The lawsuit does not name him as a defendant, but it is impossible to imagine he was entirely unaware of the acquisition of a new house. Was he a willing participant in this alleged scheme, or was he deceived as well? This allegation has the power to not only destroy Pumpkin's public reputation, but to drive a wedge into the heart of her marriage, the one relationship that has always seemed like a stable anchor in her life. This is the terrible power of an accusation like this. It forces us to look at every past act of heroism through a new, cynical lens. Every sacrifice she made, every tear she shed for her family, is now subject to re-examination. Was it all genuine, or was it part of a long game? Played by a far more cunning and ruthless operator than we ever imagined, Pumpkin Effort's entire identity is now on trial, both in a court of law and in the court of public opinion. Chris, let us now return to the almost surreal human drama at the center of this story. We must try to imagine the unbearable reality for Pumpkin Effort over the last hours. One moment, she is at her sister's birthday party. A moment of cake, of laughter, a fragile truce in a family defined by conflict. Hours later, she is rushing to a hospital, confronted with the horrifying sight of her mother, unconscious, hooked up to machines, her life hanging by a thread. The world as she knows it has tilted on its axis. She is grappling with shock, with grief, with the terror of becoming a motherless child. And then, into this vortex of raw, primal fear comes the notification. A text from a lawyer. A call from a panicked assistant. A news alert from TMZ on her phone. While she is sitting in that plastic chair, trying to process the unthinkable, she learns that she is being sued, that she is being accused of being a thief and a fraud, that a man she once trusted is attempting to dismantle her life. The psychological whiplash is impossible to fathom. How does a human mind process catastrophic, life-altering events simultaneously? Every ounce of her emotional and mental energy is needed at that hospital for her mother, for her sisters. But now a significant part of her mind must be consumed by this legal nightmare. She must think about lawyers, about evidence, about the potential loss of her home, her savings, even her freedom. This is a crisis on 2 fronts. One is a battle of medicine and faith. The other is a battle of law and reputation. The practical consequences are a nightmare. Pumpkin is now the primary point of contact for the family's crisis. She is the one making the impossible decisions at the hospital, the one updating the rest of the family, the one who has to hold Alana and Jessica as they weep. But she is also now the primary target of a major lawsuit. She has to find legal counsel. She has to secure funds for a defense, which will be extraordinarily expensive. She has to try and remember details from months ago, all while her mind is clouded with the trauma of the present.